What if the thing you fear most is actually the safest choice you could make? 80% of organizations misjudge the threats they face. That's not just a statistic, it's a blueprint for disaster. We live in a world shaped by risk. Every decision, from crossing the street to launching a business, hinges on how we perceive danger. But here's the twist. Our perception is often wrong, and that disconnect between what we fear and what's truly risky, it's costing lives, money, and opportunity. Here's the brutally honest truth. Risk perception is emotional, not logical. Most people and organizations misjudge threats. Understanding the gap between perception and reality leads to smarter decisions. This matters most in high-stakes arenas: investing, health, career, and safety.
Welcome back to Critical Thinking Secrets, the channel that gets you to think, well, critically.
Risk isn't just danger, it's the probability of harm. Actual risk is measurable, often backed by data. But perceived risk, that's shaped by fear, memory, and media. So how can one distinguish risk perception from real threats? Imagine someone staring at distorted symbols through a magnifying glass, while ignoring clear data on a screen beside them. That's how most of us process risk. We zoom in on what feels scary, and miss what's statistically dangerous. The most common scenarios highlighting the gap between perceived and actual risk include climate change, slow, invisible, ignored. Climate change unfolds slowly over decades, often hidden from daily view, making it one of the most dangerously overlooked threats in modern history. Ignored not because it's harmless, but because it lacks the drama that grabs our attention. Cybersecurity, abstract, underestimated. Cybersecurity remains an abstract concept for many, cloaked in technical jargon and invisible breaches, yet its underestimated impact can cripple entire infrastructures before anyone even realizes what's happened. Health risks, feared when dramatic, dismissed when chronic. Health risks spark fear when they're sudden and dramatic, like a heart attack or a viral outbreak, but when they're chronic, gradual, and quietly eroding well-being over time, they're too often dismissed or deprioritized until it's too late. So how do we bridge the gap? Simple, by aligning perception with reality and learning to see risk for what it truly is. So what are some effective risk assessment techniques that you can start using today? First, use real data, not gut instinct, to guide your decisions. Then, compare probabilities across different scenarios to see which threats are actually likely. Run simulations to test how things might play out before they happen. Ask yourself, what's the actual chance this goes wrong, and let that question cut through the noise. Strip away emotion, even when fear feels justified. Focus on what the evidence tells you, because clarity begins where bias ends. So how does risk perception shape the way we invest? It all comes down to how we interpret market signals, whether we're reacting emotionally or responding strategically. So what's the real difference between stock market speculation and true investment? Speculation feeds on hype, emotion, and the thrill of quick gains. Investment, on the other hand, is built on analysis, patience, and long-term thinking. The key difference? Speculators chase perceived risk, what feels exciting or urgent. Investors respond to actual risk, what the data shows and what history teaches. One is reactive, the other is deliberate. And how do we separate real risk from perceived risk in financial markets? Volatility might feel dangerous, but it's not always a sign of trouble. The real threats are often quieter. Inflation eating away at value, poor diversification exposing portfolios, and emotional trading leading to costly mistakes. Smart investors learn to tune out the noise, spot the patterns, and make decisions based on substance, not sensation. So how do we turn insight into action? By embedding risk awareness into the way we think, decide, and lead every single day. So how do we integrate actual risk analysis into real-world decisions? Start by making risk analysis a non-negotiable part of every major move. Use proven frameworks to structure your thinking and avoid blind spots. Consult experts who bring perspective beyond your own. And most importantly, don't rely on gut instinct alone. Intuition has its place, but evidence must lead the way. And how do we build a culture that truly understands risk? Train your team to recognize bias and question assumptions. Reward rational thinking, not just bold moves or fast results. Create systems that regularly challenge the status quo and surface hidden risks. Because when culture aligns with reality, resilience isn't just possible, it becomes inevitable. So what's the bottom line? Most people judge risk through emotion and past experience, not through hard data or objective facts. That gap between what we fear and what's truly dangerous, it leads to poor decisions, in business, in life, and in moments that matter most. But when we learn to think critically about risk, we unlock better choices, in investing, in safety, in how we plan our future. Because clarity isn't just power, it's protection. Understanding the difference between risk perception and reality empowers better decision-making in all areas of life. When you learn to think critically about risk, you can make choices that truly protect what matters most.
And if you want to boost your critical thinking skills, become smarter and make better decisions, I thought you did. Then get the Critical Thinking Toolkit, a powerful resource packed with checklists, mental models, and practical guides to help you avoid mistakes and sharpen your reasoning skills. Stop wasting time on bad decisions and start thinking with clarity. Grab your copy now, link in the description below. Thanks again for joining us today. Enjoyed this video? Thought so. For a more in-depth analysis, visit our website, www.criticalthinkingsecrets.com, to read the full article.
Please like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you stay up to date with our latest weekly release content. We have over 400 videos on our channel too. Help kickstart your critical thinking journey. Also, as an added bonus, just for supporting our channel, you can download our free critical thinking ebook. So go ahead and click the link below. Till next time, keep those critical thinking gears turning.